Simran. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad that I can interview you today. This is such an honor for me.
It's my pleasure.
So Sim, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like what you do, who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Simran. I know Esther from school, actually, we were classmates. Um, I'm 18 years old. I graduated from BSJ, and I'm supposed to be at university right now, actually. Supposed to have started in September 2020, but I guess we all kind of had a little bit of a rocky year. So instead of staying at university, I saved my place to start 2021 September, and I took a gap. So I decided to become an adult in this gap year, or at least try to figure out what life is like when you don't have anybody to hold you accountable for all your work. You have to try to figure it out yourself, and that's what I've been doing this entire gap year. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. You've been doing a lot of growing and adulting, which is so cool.
Yes.
So today we kind of want to talk about
Yeah.
your Karma Kombucha. I know that since the pandemic, I think you opened it during the pandemic, is it?
Yeah. So it's one of my gap year projects, or well, it turned out to be something successful that it's my baby now. So it's a pandemic baby, and I started a home business where I homebrew kombucha with different flavors, and I sell it out through Instagram, through WhatsApp, through these social media platforms, and yeah, it's all home brewed. I have different flavors. I have them with me right now to sip on. Um, this one's I have four flavors actually. They're all supposed to be healthy beverages. So I'll tell you actually. Do you want to know? I'll tell you what is kombucha and give you a little bit of background about it.
Yes, yes. Well, that's actually the next question. Home business, some people cook. So I was just kind of like interested, like what kind of get you to kombucha? It's a little bit unique.
It is. It's different. I've always had kombucha whenever I would go to like a brunch restaurant or go out with my friends, and I wasn't feeling like having coffee. I would have a bottle of kombucha instead, because I know it has a ton of health benefits, but I never really bothered with it in the beginning. But during the pandemic, there was a point where I was just craving the taste of kombucha, and it wasn't getting satisfied. Like I was just like, I can't go out to get it or anything. So I decided to make it myself at home. And because I started drinking it for the taste and not for the health benefits, to be honest, which is a little different. There are people who don't fancy the taste of kombucha. So I used to brew it at home, and give it to my parents, give it to friends, whoever like wanted to try whatever I was brewing, whatever flavor I was trying out that week. And so I used to just as like a pleasurable drink to have at home. And basically what it's fermented tea, right? So I take tea, I ferment it with bacteria, and then I use fruits later on for flavoring, because I don't believe in artificial flavoring and all of that. Everything I do is natural and raw. So I used to just do it as part of like my lifestyle during quarantine, because we didn't have anything to do when like IB was canceled and all of that. So when I would give it to my parents, I'd give it to my friends and family. They were like, Simon, this is so good. Why aren't you sharing it with the world? And so I decided my research, figure out what were the health benefits, really understand what I was doing, understand the entire science behind it, before I took the leap and said, you know what, I'm going to start sharing my creations. And that's that's how it started.
So along the process, you've probably learned like a couple things about kombucha that you didn't know, right? So what are some things that you've learned, from the health aspect or from just like other aspects that you're like, wow, this is interesting?
So first of all, a fun fact is actually it kombucha used, or it is still known as the tea of immortality, which is kind of cool to be nicknamed that. And also I found out that it's actually originated in China. Like kombucha was something that the Chinese used to drink about 2000 years ago, and now everybody in the Western community, everybody's drinking it because it's like the trendy drink, which is, I thought, was kind of crazy. But and also, well, I knew this about kombucha, that it had health benefits, but I didn't think the health benefits were so extreme until I actually did my research. I found out that there is research about how kombucha has actually been able to manage type 2 diabetes, right? And then it also can help protect against cancer. Like, it can kill cancer cells and stop uncontrollable growth of cells, right? And that's like the crazy health benefits I learned. But obviously there are the simple ones, like to boost the immune system, to strengthen it, to give you probiotics, and has antibacterial, antioxidant properties, that kind of.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know kombucha actually contains that much health benefits. So I want to like, kind of talk to you and chill a little bit more. I want to ask you like, other than this Karma kombucha, what are other side projects that you're currently working on?
So I am actually, I have decided to become a tutor, like a teacher, at this project. It's a home. It's started also during the pandemic. It's called Creative Pop, and it's an online teaching platform that has been started by uni students. A friend's sister started it with her friends, and what they do is they teach creative subjects to children, primary children, grade 1 to 6, and they teach what you don't usually learn in school, like things like cooking, arts and craft. Well, there's home fitness. So there's PE in school, but home fitness, I feel like, is a little different. And then there's other subjects like baking and cooking, and public speaking, creative writing, those kind of subjects that they teach. And I love working with children personally, and asked me to get on board with it and be a teacher with them. I just leaped at the opportunity because I love it. And so I teach home fitness there, and I also teach creative writing through Creative Pop. And so I have my set of students that every month we have a new cycle, plan the classes, teach them, have fun with them. So I am a fitness enthusiast personally. And so being able to share it with little children, because I feel like sometimes PE sometimes gives the wrong impression, to these little children about fitness, and so much stigma around it growing up, that it's just not fair what they have to learn at that age. And so I feel like through being able to teach them through Creative Pop, I can share my own personal things I've learned over time, and how it's not exactly what society wants you to be, that you have to have the body or be fit like that person on Instagram. Like, no, you just have to have fun. And that's my rule in all of my classes. When I introduce myself, I always say I'm Miss Sim, and I have one rule, and that's to have fun. So
That's awesome. You're like a qualified teacher. You're a qualified teacher with an IB degree. That's so cool.
yeah.
Sim, you've been doing so much. Like, I know that a lot of people take gap years, but with the given situation, it's a lot. You teach, you make kombucha. Like, what else do? You do so much things in this gap year. So I want to ask you, like, what kind of inspired you to keep on moving? Because we know that through the stages of quarantine, there's like a motivational stage, and then there's like a downside to it. So for you, like, what kept you going? Like, I need to do this project. I need to keep on doing things.
um, where you're coming from. I think everybody had these like phases up and downs during quarantine, and um, this is like a really personal thing that I'm sharing with you, and I'm happy to share. It's in the beginning of quarantine, when IB got cancelled, school was completely online, but we didn't have to do the online school because IB was cancelled. I think I went into a very, very low point of my life, because I'm the type of person, you know me from school, I'm the type of person who, it's always grades that you have to get this grade. All I knew was
She's
school.
smart, by
All
the
I
way.
knew was study. all I knew was this. Like through 12 years of school and the 4 years of high school, this is all that I was doing. Like it was just I'm coming home from school and then I have to study for the test tomorrow, after this tomorrow. It was a lot. And like with having, I did sciences, two sciences at higher level and all of that, it was a lot to do and have it all taken away from you at one shot without like it was you were blindsided. And when that happens to you, you're not sure how to go about anything because you're so used to having your teachers hold you accountable, and then having nobody hold you accountable, you go into a point in life where you're like, I don't know what to do anymore, right? So I'm not even joking, I sat for 2 months sitting until 5 o'clock in the morning watching Netflix, waking up at 1 in the afternoon, eating two meals, again staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning. That was my routine. For 2 months, I felt that way. And I'm gonna be honest, my waking hours during those 2 months, I hated it. I hated it so much. I felt horrible. It was not just mentally, but I physically felt horrible as well because I was injured at that time and I couldn't work out. No matter how much I tried, I was in too much pain to do any workout. It just wasn't my best moment. It was one of my worst moments actually. It was horrible, but I knew that if I kept at that rate, I would start to hate myself. And like I was already starting to
That's
so
true.
I right? You start to hate who you are as a person. That's just not what you want to do to yourself, right? So I started to pick myself up. I started to build a routine. I was like, okay, fine. 10 a.m. I have to be awake. I would set an alarm. I still have my alarm on my phone, even though I don't wake up at 10 now. I have an alarm for 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, wake up, you're not on holiday, because I started to say that I have purpose. There is a reason. I always believe that the universe puts you in these situations for a reason. And even though you don't know that reason now, you will eventually. And so I said that I don't know why I'm in this situation, but at least let me take care of myself properly. And so I would get up. I wouldn't have any projects. I didn't have anything I was working on at that time. So I would get up. I would do breathing exercises. I would make my bed every morning because I learned how that was an immune booster to start your day. So I would make it a point that 10 a.m. by 10:05 I'm out of the bed, curtains are open, AC switched off, make my bed first, do a little bit of breathing, visualize my day, how I want my day to go, right? And I would do these things and then go have my breakfast. And then I wouldn't have much to do. So I did still watch Netflix at that time. I would still sit and chill, but I just told myself that at least if I was waking up at 10 a.m. and sleeping at midnight, that was so much better than waking up at 1 in the afternoon and sleeping at 5 in the morning. Right? And that was my first step. My first step was the waking up.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're a better human being in a way, like you're more productive, right? I really like
Yeah,
the mindset switch that you went from a very low state and then you kind of grow yourself up. I think, to be honest, I don't know if you agree with this, but our batch, I know we're like complaining because we didn't get a graduation, but we're kind of lucky because we have like a year to grow in a way where before university and that going overseas, we understand ourselves better. We are able to, like, yeah, we know ourselves, that's pretty obvious, but in a way we know our limits, like what you said, right? Like I cannot be waking up at 1 p.m and sleeping at 5 a.m. That's not normal. And maybe without this time being, you wouldn't know that you needed that learning in your life, right? Like you picked up some responsibilities for yourself, I think.
definitely. I really agree with that. I 100% agree. I hated the idea of a gap year. I hated the idea of whatever we were going through. Our batch complained a lot about not getting a graduation. I cried when IB was canceled. It was a whole
Sim, why did
horrible
you cry?
moment, but
Sim,
I
I was
knew I wanted
happy,
to
I don't
do the
understand how you're
exam.
crying.
It was emotional, I guess you could
Were you
say.
crying
But
because you didn't get a chance to do the test, or were you not satisfied with your unpredicted grade, with your predicted grades? Which one is it?
I knew that if I had the opportunity to do the exams, I could do better than what IB gave me.
Yeah, that's for
So,
sure.
yeah, I just felt that I was not given the chance to earn the grade that I deserve. But
Yeah, and
it's
an
okay.
algorithm determine our grade, which is really great.
Yeah, I
That's That's
don't
2020,
understand
Simran.
what
Let's
it
keep it
was.
in 2020.
Yeah, no, we're not bringing it this year.
So
But yeah, I agree. Like I now, if you ask me now, the one thing I'm grateful for in 2020 was the gap year that I got.
Sim, you did a lot of healing yourself, right? Like with the process of you teaching now, I'm sure you're also learning from the kids you're teaching. So, in your perspective, like with everything that you went through with the low points and everything, have you spent time at doing some healing for yourself? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yes, I have, and I truly believe so important. I during IB, I thought I was organized, but now when I look at life, I feel like I'm much more organized. So it just started with small things. Like I did have a planner in IB, but I didn't use it much. Like there would be days where it was just empty, but I had so much to do. Now I've learned to use my planner every day. I list down what I need to do. I prioritize, and it's just small things like that where now even through my healing process, I used to journal every single night. I used to sit and just write for 10 minutes, switch off my phone. Before I'd go to bed, I would switch off my phone and I'd sit on my journal, like sit with my journal and write for it straight, because I knew that there is no way that I have all my friends to sit and listen to me talk every single day about what I'm going through. And it's just so much easier when when you feel like you're talking to someone. I used to write, it's stupid. People will think it's stupid that you write dear diary, but I'm
Dude, it's
telling
not
you,
stupid. I
you
do it too.
grow.
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it, but there's such a stigma around it, don't you feel?
Yeah, but no, that's not. People have to change the perspective on it. It's healthy, you know. People
That's why.
who do what you do are less depressed, you know.
And it
They
helps. Like
they
I've
are.
realized it helps.
It does help. It does help. I agree. Okay, continue with your story.
So I used to write in a diary. I used to journal it out. Because I learned that when you either write it down or talk it out, writing it down much more has a better effect, but talking it out, it actually, like, it helps with your brain physically. There are changes in your brain, and I'm gonna study the brain, right? So these things are what interests me, and I really believe it when I know there's a science behind it. And so I used to do these things. I used to journal. I used to write what I'm grateful for, because even in such a horrible time, having a gratitude journal, it's a game changer. I'm going to tell you that there's no such thing as looking for happiness, I believe. I believe if you are trying to look for happiness, try being grateful and it will come to you automatically, because grateful people are happy people.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Someone
right?
has to said that. You're so grown, so mature, Simran.
The gap year did that to me.
I feel like it's very funny because we were all at the same community, but sometimes with IB and just being a teenager, I guess it doesn't quite stops to us that like we're all together in it. We're all going through it together, with the pandemic, with the exams. So we're just like, okay, you do your stuff, I'll do my stuff, whatever. So that kind of put us into perspective that, oh, it's fine to feel like this because other people are going through it too. And from what you said, I know that you've done a lot of learning and I've seen the result. Like you're doing so much now, which is great. Sim, so I also want to ask you, because you did all your spiritual healing and with the kombucha too all at once, how does that kind of put you in perspective about like the new definition of health? What is health to you now, spiritually and physically and all that?
I feel like everybody went through phases in the lockdown period, quarantine period. I went through a diet phase as well, and I did like extreme dieting, and it was horrible. But I feel like you know your body, you know how your body works. You know what's good for your body. Listen to your body. When your body's telling you that sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning is not good for you, listen to your body, like when you go for a run, do exercise, do a home workout, your body feels good, do it again. Keep at it. When you're seeing that your body is happy with what you're doing, you're releasing hormones in your brain, right? And you don't realize it, but the happy hormones that get released when you do these things, when you feed yourself good food, when you exercise, when you are happy, you realize that what you're doing is good for your body. And I feel like that is the ultimate like point in health that we need to get to.
Yes. Wait, Simran, question. You know how you took psychology IB? Is it
Yeah.
serotonin, dopamine, or endorphins?
They're all happy hormones. There's different ones for different points in your life, right? Exercise, this, that, all of them release different ones. So I will brush up on that and get back to you about the exact hormone for each situation. But yeah, I feel like that's health.
Don't disappoint your psychology teacher, Simran.
I think he'll be quite proud about where I am in life as of now, to be honest.
Yes, he is.
Or
I'm
at least I
pretty sure
hope.
he is. I can't do a Geordie accent, so I can't be him right now.
Yeah.
So Sim, just to wrap up like what we talked about, I want to ask you more about like I know that you're doing a lot of projects, but like it centers around you because you're the masterpiece of the project. With all these, it is, you don't give yourself enough credit that you're the masterpiece. You're always like around school and doing all this stuff without acknowledging yourself. You should acknowledge yourself more.
Okay.
How do you think as a person, like how does it with having Karma Kombucha and all this project, how does it help you grow and kind of say, oh, like i'm not I'm not that bad of a person, I'm not the depressed person that I thought I was. How does that thing put yourself into perspective, like you looking at yourself?
You know what? So you would think, right? You would think that you hate yourself. You would think of yourself as a disappointment. Or like at least when you were going through this period, anyone would have that phase where they hated who they were, they thought they were disappointment. And so I actually did a course at that point in time, a course about like self-growth, right? And there was one tactic that I learned that I do. Okay, they told me to stand in a mirror, look yourself straight in the eye. Okay, both your eyes have to be looking at your eyes in the mirror, not the rest of your face. It has to be the eyes. You stare at yourself and you say out loud. Okay, say it out loud. No one else is in the room, but say out loud, "I love you."
Oh,
10 times.
affirmations.
Stare. Yeah, but I do affirmations as well, but this one is just saying I love you. It's as simple as these three words, right? They have a lot of strength. But when you do it while staring at your eyes in the mirror, you feel something. I'm gonna be honest, the first time I did it, I cried. I have never told myself that I love myself, that when I told myself for the first time and actually looked at who I was, and said, I cried, because you hear it from other people. I hear it from my parents, my family, my friends. But when you tell yourself that you love yourself, you appreciate who you are, that gives you so much room to just grow. It's so difficult. But once you start, you won't stop.
That's a good tip. I think people should start doing that because I think when I look at you, because I'm from another, set of eyeballs, obviously, like I see you doing so much things, and like you look at me and we look at our friends, like we're all doing so many things, but when we really have to evaluate ourselves, I think most of the things that comes first is the negative, and then the positives are like kind of in the bottom. Sometimes they don't even have any positive, to be honest.
That's true. I agree with you.
Sim, to kind of close up, I want to ask you, what's one quote you live by as Simran? Like, I live by this quote and I breathe through this quote for you.
I don't have one that I live by 100%. I love quotes, so I have when I was a kid, I had a notebook and wrote all my quotes down. Now I have notes on my laptop where I just type up all the notes I love. So I have a few, but the one that really struck me is the one that I said in this already. I told you, is that if you want to find happiness, find gratitude, and that's just something I do live by. And so when I am having a horrible day, I just hate what I was going through, I will close my eyes and count three things that I'm grateful for in the whole day.
Your day kind of just turn around to a positive day, right?
Yeah.
Sim, you want to promote Karma Kombucha? Yeah, your Instagram, and if you have some displays to show.
Yes, I have my one bottle here with me because the other ones I don't have them this week. They're all sold out. This one is my virgin mojito flavor. I have four flavors. I'll just tell you really quickly. I have a pineapple flavor, apple, honey date, and virgin mojito. All the names of my flavors are flirty pickup lines. To be and me, pineapple ever after, apple of my eye, and honey be my date. We are on Instagram, karmakombucha.id. On Instagram, there's the WhatsApp that you can contact. You can order through DMs. You're welcome to order. We will provide you with the very best service. We are happy to tell you what flavor you will enjoy the most depending on your taste buds. We have conversations. We'll tell you all about the health benefits. Give us a call. Send us a message. It's karmakombucha.id on Instagram.
That is awesome. I'm gonna link everything below. So Simran's Instagram, Karma Kombucha's Instagram, and maybe if you want to send me the project you're doing for the school, I could also link that too, so people could check it out, like
For
what
sure.
you're doing and stuff. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, Simran, for coming and talking and
Um,
opening your heart.
it's been my pleasure. I've loved it.
So yeah, that's it for today's episode.